Now, when you are done with the creation, you will see generating readme, blah, blah, successfully created project to do. Get started with the following commands. So all you do is just type cd. That is because when you open this Explorer, you will see that you have a new to do. Don't worry about this to do HTML. Is because the folder, this outer folder that I created, I already had the to do.html in it, and that is what in the new project that we created. The app is everything is kept within the to do folder here, the sub one. This is a folder, to do folder. So for us to be able to start to run the project, we need to go into that directory because that is where we have all the other components, and we'll talk about it very shortly. So you type cd to do and you press enter, and there's we are in to do. Okay, and now the next command to type to run is npm run serve. So when you press it, then your project will go through compiling and all of those things, and when it is done compiling, then it will send it will tell you, give notification that it's done. Then you'll be able to open it in your browser. Now, whilst it is building your files, okay, fine, it is done. So we have it in port 8080. You can click to open the link, but let me open it in the browser. So localhost port 8080. Depending on the available ports that you have, if your port that you have, port 8080 is not available, the view instance is going to increase increase by 1, and therefore you're going to have port 8081, which is just okay. So when you press enter, you're going to have your view to do project run. These are just the template that you have within your project templates just to get it started, because this is what we install. We install Babel, ESLinks, Unit Motion, and then this is essential links. If you want to go to the core documentation, the forum, they have a great community, Twitter news, and then these are the ecosystems: Vue Router, Vuejs, Vue Dev Tool, Vue Loader, and then awesome. So let's get back to the project and look at how all of these things happened. Okay, because you have this and you're wondering where they're all coming from, and if you click on this and all that, why do you have all these things? So let's go back to the studio. So now this is what we're going to look at. Okay, our project is running, and then we open, and then we have some bunch of files here. We don't know how they came about and what we're going to do with it. Now, this is what you're going to do. First of all, the first one is node module. So you're not going to work from that directory. The node modules will contain all modules that you will install using the npm. So when you created the Vue project, it installed a lot of stuff here. Don't worry, these are not going to be just compounded in your project when you build. In fact, that's not what is going to happen. And so you have a lot of stuff in here, including the Babel, and all of these things are part of the node modules. So any package that you install, this is where it is kept in the node module folder. Then you have public. Public includes your public files where you have the index.html. What happens here is when you build your project, okay, this becomes the let's say the skeleton for your project. So anything that is built, you saw the building here the time that we run the npm run serve. It was building, and everything when it is done building, it has to inject your project here, so that you're going to have your as a single HTML. So this is where the build file will be injected. We'll come back to this file shortly. Know what we're going to do here. Okay. You also have the source. Now here in this folder is where is your working directory. This is where you mostly be working, adding files, and doing a whole lot of stuff. So the first one is asset. This is where you keep all your images, your CSS, and other things that you may consider it to be an asset. This is where you keep it. And then the second one is a component. Now component usually reusable views that you create. For instance, let's say you create a button component and you want all buttons to have certain functionality within all your project. This is where you create it. So you have Hello World as a component, and don't worry, when we start dealing with components, you will understand how easy it is to create a component and reuse it in your entire project, which comes in handy. All right, and then you have Vue Router. Now, this Vue Router is how the Vue ecosystem navigate through various pages. Now what happens is that this Vue Router has the navigation to your entire, or the route to your entire view stated or declared here. So for instance, we'll come back to this very shortly. So for now, let us say that all the paths, so you have slash, which is pointing to home, and the home is pointing to a certain file. Don't worry so much about this, don't worry. And then we have store. Think of store, because of the view as we selected, think of store to be like a session which makes your data available across all your Vue components. So just like saving a session, a local session, making it accessible through all the browser tabs, the store makes it possible for you to share data across your components. And so it's not only data. You're going to be able to share global functions, global methods, so that you'll be able to mutate the data that you have within. Don't worry, I just don't want to make things, I don't want to get you overwhelmed because we are not touching them right now. And then you have the view folder. In the view folder, this is where you create your views. The actual views that you're going to create is where you're going to place them. So you have the home and then the about. So the home that you saw here and then the about that you saw here, this is where they are. Okay, they are under the view. So this is where you're going to create. Now, the last, it's not the last, you have app.view. And this app.view is not in any folder like view or components. That is because that is going to be your main template. Your main, here we can say it is your master view or the master template, or in other programming environment you may call it your view layout or something like that. And so that's where you define the shell of your application, the skeleton of your application. And so where any other part will come to play and then be plugged in. Okay, let me not just use plugin because it's not plugging. This is just like the master template where you'll be able to include other files to build up your structure. And so it is the template, the very first template that will be mounted when you use when you create an instance of the view class. Okay, so basically we'll come back to this file very shortly. And then you have main. Now this main is very, very important. Sometimes you may, in older view, you may see it as index.js. Now this main is the main entry point to your application. Now this is the part where the view system get instantiated, and you have the view, like I told you, with the options, like I showed you over here. The first thing that happens is that you have the new view created. So this is where we have the new view, which we are instantiating, and we are passing a lot of options here. Now this is what is going to happen. First of all, we say let's import view, and that is the view system that we're using from view. Now when you say import, then the name that you give from view, what is going to happen is when you check here, there is nothing like pointing it to any directory. And so when you see it like this, know that it is importing from the node modules, And then here you have app. We are naming it app. Say import app from ./app.view. And when you see the dot, it is relative path. And so where is this main.js file? It is here. And so, okay, so dot will stand for relative path / the app, which is just here. And then sometimes you may see app is absolute, which will just point to the source folder itself. And so here, the second one, we have router. We are importing router from .router. But we know that there is a file inside the .router, and we didn't use the /index.js. And that is because the view system knows that the only file in there is index.js, and the file itself is index, so it is importing the index file, and therefore you can choose not to include or to include it, which is cool. And we also have the store, just like the router is the same thing that you have in here. So if to import it as router, you import this as store, and then you import the app. This app is pointing to this app.view. Okay, and so okay, fine. The view instance that we have imported here from the node modules. If you go into the node modules, you're going to see from the V option. Look for it so you can see what you see. A lot of files there. Don't worry. When you build your project, you're going to have a very minified, light file, and you're going to appreciate it. So where is so this is view. Yeah, so this is view. So we're importing from view. This node module. So I've shown you where it is. Okay. So now that we have imported view, that means we can access the properties within the view. So we have view.config.production tip. Yes, we want production tip, and so change the false to true. And then this is where we create a new or instantiate the object for new, for view. And so we pass this option, router. We're trying to tell it that use this router engine. We're trying to say that we're going to use the store. And then we're saying that if you're going to render, then there is a template that you have to render, just like we showed you in the view cycle. You have to render a template. Then what template are you going to render? The template name is app. And if it is app, then where is the file, which is here, app.view. So that is going to be, like I said, the master template or the master layout. And so that is app.view. And so when the view is instantiated, it has to mount this template into an element, and that element has an ID an ID app. And so when you come here, okay, when the build file is injected, you realize that it will be put here. The view files will be put here. And if the view files is put here, to be looking for an ID, and that tag with an ID will have the ID as app. And so when you change this one, you have to change the one here. So, but definitely you're not going to change it. So, going to tamper with it. It's not anything. You can just change it anyhow you want. And so that is what we're going to do. Okay. So now when you save, you see that it just rebuilds. Anytime you save, it just rebuilds. And then it will reload your page here. You haven't seen anything just because you haven't done anything. And then you haven't seen the effect of the production tip, but you'll see it very soon. Okay, so let's quickly